Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. It's been a hot minute since I've reviewed a beer from this brewery. Burp. But I was hankering for something big. Saw this. Let's get to it. Ralphius. Ralphius from Free Will Brewing Company. I don't remember the last Free Will beer that I reviewed. It's probably been a minute. But I can get their stuff. That's the weird part, is that like they're one of their biggest distributors is 35 minutes, not even away from where I live. Actually, might be closer than that. Regardless, this is not just Ralphius, which I've reviewed before, but this is their 2-year cognac barrel, Ralphius. The cognac, I'm a sucker for that barrel. So this was kind of barking at me from the shelf. You get it? Barking. There's a dog. So we're going to dive into it. Let's get to it. 2-year cognac barrel, Ralphius, Free Will Brewing Company. This is from 2022. So you're talking about we're in 2024 now. I'm not quite sure when this got bottled. Probably closer to the fall. So we're probably a year and a half in. It says 2-year cognac barrel, Imperial Stout, aged for 2 years in cognac barrels, 13.9% alcohol by volume. It says here this variant showcases a unique punch-in. Aged for an additional year, featuring notes of raisin, peppery oak, and boysenberry jam. Boysenberry. I couldn't tell you what boysenberry is. I don't think many people could. I think it's a fun word to say. So we'll see what's what. Anyway. So yeah. It's thick. It's not like all the thick Arbolanos, but it's thick enough. Throw a cork in it, a cap in it. Keep what carbonation it does have. As you can see, it's not overtly carbed. I mean, there's a bit of carbonation on it. It's not going to fool you with being over-carbonated, but at the same time, you're talking about something that was aged in 2 years in barrels and also has been sitting for a year and a half, probably minimum. Looks a part of a big, rich Imperial Stout. The head that's there, when it is there, is kind of darker than I even like my coffee to look like, colored head to it, and looks the part of a big, rich Stout. Let's get a nose. That smells fantastic. Boozy, but fantastic. And again, 13.4%, 2 years in a cognac barrel. I'm not going to get angry at boozy. That's kind of what I'm expecting for a beer like this. So, again, got to mention it at the same time. You should expect it if you're opening a beer like this. It's really, really rich. Really, really decadent. Like, man, it is. Like we're talking just shit's cranked up there. You know, we're cranking everything to 11 here. From the rich chocolatey, big, huge chocolate, roasted maltiness, just on display, just like in your face, 2x4 to your face. The cognac spirit side of things. Again, big, huge, in your face. The barrel. There's a rich, huge vanilla, coconut charriness to this. And this is all aromatics. We haven't even got into the actual taste itself. Big, huge. Everything here is cranked to 11, but I don't mean to say that and then it's just hair on fire craziness. It smells like it's going to be pretty cohesive. It smells like it's going to have this nice kind of connection inside of itself. And by that I mean a lot of times when you get big barrel-aged beers, not a lot of times, but you know, more often than not, I should say, it tends to be a little disjointed, you know, in the sense that like it's barrel, it's spirit, it's beer, and they're very disconnected and they don't work in harmony. I'm not saying that's going to be the case. We haven't tasted yet, but there seems to be a melding of everything going on here. Now, the year and a half plus that's been sitting on the shelf, plus the time spent in the barrel helps facilitate that. But we'll see in the taste. But my knee-jerk reaction I get from the nose is grandma candies, and I've talked about those ad nauseum before. But for me, they talked about like boysenberry and raisin and peppery oak. It's raspberry grandma candy. And by that I mean, like, for those that haven't heard me talk about this before, so you go and get the, I forget the name of the company, there's a bunch of them that do it, but, you know, the boxed candy during holiday season, it's usually got some kind of ridge on it, and it's fancy, and then you open it up, and you open the box, you can't even get it off, it's kind of like suctioned, it's that well made on tolerance, and you get it off, and there's just candies in a blow pressed kind of thing, random candies with all kinds of shapes and sizes. There's a plastic film over it. That film tells you what each candy is, because you don't know. You know, you don't know what candy is in there unless you use the legend, the guide on that little plastic film. Be like, that's a chocolate peanut butter one. There's the raspberry cordial one, the semi-dark chocolate raspberry cordial. That's what I'm getting here. So that's cool, because I dig on that. And I hope it follows through in the taste, because Grandma Candy Imperial Stout is kind of, barrel-aged Imperial Stout is kind of like my favorite Imperial Stout. So, long-winded. You know me. Let's just dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's delicious. My phone is not my phone, but my camera's overheating. There we go. So, quick tangent. I use this Sony ZV-1. That's a lot of people use it. It likes to overheat. And I have this little USB fan that blows on it. I forget that sometimes that I unplug it. Anyway, so it'll be fine. Nothing will happen on the actual video, hopefully. But that's raspberry cordial Grandma Candy. It's like almost like creepily that, to the point where I feel like I'm almost like I'm a tail wagging a dog here, that I want it to be the Grandma Candy, so now it is the Grandma Candy. But I don't think that's the case here, because when they talk about, you know, these fruited portions of the beer and what it is very much kind of spot on. I didn't connect to that until I smelled it, but it kind of makes sense. So first things first, mouthfeel. Spot on. I was a little bit hesitant here because it really does look undercarbonated. It looked like, you know, you're not getting much of a head on this. That can be par of the course. That can be, you know, what you expect when it comes to some of these kind of long form, long haul barrel aged beers. But it doesn't drink like that. There is still a carbonation to it. There still is this nice density to it. There still is this nice, this full mouthfeel to it, which is super, super appreciative. The roasted malt portion of the show here. Let's get to that. Or the malt. I shouldn't say this roasted malt. Malt portion of the show. Chocolate on chocolate. Very chocolate. They're very much, it's not even semi-sweet bakers. It is bakers between bakers and semi-sweet. Because I think you got to think about that way, because I think most of the sweetness you're getting from this beer is coming from the spirit side of things. So you got a really roasty, toasty, probably relatively bigger, astringent kind of almost Russian Imperial Stout level kind of bittering stout on this. I think that's what you need to hold up to the spirit end of things on this beer, but it shows really, really, really well. And again, we'll get to that portion of the show that I talked about earlier about cohesiveness, but everything's working in concert here. That's the best part about it. Spirit and barrel, we'll combine those together because they are technically together. Well, everything's together in here now. The cognac, it comes off like cognac to me. A cognac is like a liquor that is like, I don't drink a ton of, but whenever I have it, and I have ones that I like, I fall in love with it all over again. You're getting it here without it being heavy-handed. Again, when I talk about everything working in concert, it's not so much that like everything's muted or everything's neutral. Everything's showy, and it's like, the best analogy I can make is like, you know, when actors are just, it's like an Ocean's movie, like Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12. It's not so much all the actors are playing off each other in a very calculated manner. They're all throwing 99, but they're all throwing 99, and they're hitting their marks, you know. And when it's like that, it just works. You know, it just works, and you're like, okay, if there's a weak link, then it shows really bad, because everybody's working in concert, everybody's working together. It just so happens everybody's throwing gas. And that's what this is doing. It's throwing gas. And the spirit is throwing gas, but it can hold up because the malt side of things, mouthfeel side of things, and the barrel side of things are doing its part. Also, the barrel side of things, a nice, rich, smoky charriness to it. It has that coconut, it has that kind of vanilla portion of the show going on for it. And honestly, is one of the best barrel-aged beers I've had. We can go end sentence on that, but more specifically for the purposes of review, as of late. And as of late, for me, is the past several months. This is delicious. This is absolutely 100% delicious. Man, that's good beer. That is absolutely 100% good beer. I don't even know what else to say. Flaws. And there's, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to talk about flaws with this beer. You know, not that it's not a perfect beer. There's no such thing as a perfect beer. But, well, you know, maybe a perfectly aged Hardy. But, you know. I was about to complain about price point on this. It's, you know, it's not a 500 milliliter bottle. It's $3.75 and it was $15. That's probably my biggest complaint. I mean, it's so good I don't have any issues with that price point, but I want at least at $15. I want $3.70. I want 500 mil. I do. $3.75, just a little bit smaller. That's the only thing I can kind of hang my hat on. Mouthfeel, I think it's appropriately fantastic. If you beefed it up at Scotia, would I be angry? No. But I don't even know. The beer might drink a little bit different. I'm not changing shit here. I'm not. I think this is probably one of the better long haul ager. And by long haul ager, you know, most people are looking at a year or so, give or take, 2 years in cognac barrel beers that I've had, period. You know, if I strip it down that widely as a talking point. So let's actually start from the beginning. We'll break it down because I don't think there's much else to talk about the beer itself. Just rich, just under semi-sweet chocolate that has this beautiful roasty toastiness to the beer. Beer shows up beautifully. Coconut abounds. Again, they talk about peppery oak. I could talk myself into that, but whatever. But it is that fruited portion that I actually failed to mention. A little bit of reddish fruit is what I would call, but I say raspberry cordial, grandma candy vibes that really come through in a very, very beautiful way. Is this, Mount Rushmore status, is this one of the better barrel-aged beers that I've had as of late? And sentence, yes. Is this one of the better cognac barrel-aged beers that I've had as of late? 100% yes. Is it one of the better cognac barrel-aged beers I've ever had of all time? I think that answer is yes. I think it is Mount Rushmore status. That's how good it is. It's fantastic. There you go. Yeah, Mount Rushmore status. Value availability, like I said, $15 off a shelf in Stockertown, Pennsylvania, which is about 10 minutes north of Easton. For those that are keeping score at home, they had 100, not hundreds, probably. I mean, it's a major distributor that sells it, so they probably have more than they put out in the shelves, but they had tens of these on the shelves if you're curious to go there. And leave you with, if you like this. If you like barrel-aged beer, you like cognac barrel-aged beer, and you like barrel-aged stouts, and you like good barrel-aged beer, you'll like this. Free will. Have you been to the brewery? I have. I hadn't been there since they had their flood. But I'm curious to go. I'm actually curious to go. They have a satellite location close to New Hope. I've never been there. I'm really curious to go there, but I'm curious to travel back. The kiddo, it's very hard, but I would love to go back. But I'm curious to your thoughts on Free Will. Have you had their beers? What is your favorite Free Will beer? This is up there for me. I had to think about it, but it's in the running. What's your favorite Free Will beer that you've ever had? Have you had this? What do you think of this? All that fun stuff down there. So hopefully you enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of barrel-aged goodness right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers up.